Hi there, Art Noble here, author of The Sacred Female and an expert in sexual biology and erotic love. Now, I started on my quest to find out what was happening in our bodies that would explain some of the magnificent experiences I had had. And I began studying sexual science. Science doesn't have all the answers, not hardly. Now, most of science is geared towards pleasure, and pleasure is certainly a one perspective on sex. Other people seem to think that sex is simply about procreation, and it is, but there's more. Now, Dr. Cindy Meston at the University of Texas did a study on, quote, why humans have sex. She interviewed 1,500 students at the University of Texas and came up with 237 different reasons why these kids have sex. And among them was, I wanted to see God. And that can happen. That is a consequence of having sex. Other people look at sex as though it is simply about bonding and intimacy, and it is, but there's more. Now, in my work, one of the things that I came up with is that sex is a mechanism for transferring and transmitting love. And that plays a big part in what I learned. Now, another way of looking at sex, another clinical, seemingly cold and clinical way of looking at sex, is that it's nothing but the stimulation, mental or physical, of nerve endings. Now, as an example, if I want to raise my arm, I automatically send a signal from my brain down my arm that says, lift your arm. And so the nerves carry a message to the biceps, and my arm is lifted. Sex is also the stimulation of nerve endings that elicit, in many cases, various responses, of which orgasm is only one. And I'll get into that in the next video. But I just wanted to give you a different perspective and mention a couple of them, because there are 7 billion different people on the planet, and we probably have our own unique perspective about sex. And I think that by discussing sex as a stimulation of nerve endings in that cold and clinical fashion, we can look at it and talk about it and learn about it. Now, one of the things that I learned is that this stimulation of nerve endings is, like I said, a very narrow view, but, and it sounds cold and clinical, but when I mix it with the transmitting and transferring of love, that's when everything happens. So I want to thank you for looking at this, and in the next video, we'll get into the details of the nerve endings and how they can impact us on orgasm. Thank you, and you all have a good day.